log recording. It's 1:33 in the morning. It's the 12th of January 2024. We're seeing an end of an era, guys. Fruit Strike gum, it's gone. Or it's rare right now, and people are trying to get as much money as they can off of a package of gum that a confectionery had announced about less than a week ago that they're getting rid of. About 105 or almost 220 for a pack of gum, for fruit stripe flavor gum. Kind of reminded me when the Twinkies went. This company was going out of business, and there were certain confectionaries that they were making, including the Forever Eternal Twinkie. How many people went nuts over that particular confectionery? And yet the fruit stripe gum had been out for nearly a century. It was flavorful. It was the thing that kids wanted. But the company that makes or used to make the fruit stripe gum stopped it about 1 or 2 years ago because they couldn't make enough. They didn't get that much demand for it. So now, since they're going on, the company's still alive, but certain confectionaries that we took for granted, well, they're gone. They're gone. There are certain things that we, as adults, took for granted of the kid stuff that we grew up with and thought it was going to be forever. We kept thinking Twinkies and Ding Dongs and other confectionery stuff were going to be. We thought Hostess was going to be forever, but it wasn't. And then, several years ago, when Twinkies disappeared off the shelves, anybody who actually had the Twinkies would be hoarding it like crazy, or try to get as much money as they could off of eBay. And they're doing the same thing with the fruit stripe gum. I'm in no condition to chew gum these days, let alone that particular flavor that I enjoyed as a kid. But I also enjoyed a double mint, spearmint, and juicy fruit, and they got those things out by the Wrigley Company. But this was another company that actually had it out for a long while. And it's sad to see this one go forever because the sales sucked. Now people are going crazy over the damn thing. It used to be by the Beach Nut Company, and then it was sold off to another company and to another company. And they tried to keep it going. But apparently the last company I was owning and operating it and dealing with it, it's the Ferrero group, didn't see the sales. Didn't see it was selling as much, so they decided, okay, they're going to kill it off a couple of years ago. The decision made. So slowly kill off the production line. Now it's a rare. And why do I say this? Because there are certain things in my lifetime that I don't know. I didn't think I'd see. I took it for granted, like anything and everything else these days. Now I'm seeing things that we take for granted gone, or changed and mutated and formula and things turned out differently than what we expected and what we had. And it's going to be gone. If you happen to find it, hoard it. Maybe the last of it. Kind of reminds me of things that we hold for granted and what we hold dear, or what we hold because we think it's going to be value, including artificial creations that we think should have been lasting forever. It wasn't. And what needs to be held on to, and the things we have to let go. The childhood memories, the childhood longings. We have to see right now what's more important in our yeah, the decisions I've made had to be a goal that I'm still longing to get for, but I'm concerned about a family member currently. And I am a full an idiot, I know I am, but my dog is the most important thing to me in my life right now. So is the education, and I don't want to screw that up, but I kept telling my brother when he was alive, we had the argument. It almost separated us like crazy. And you realize how much he meant to me. But I also realized how much he wanted me to get this thing taken care of. And yeah, I went crazy over the past roughly 35 years of stupid decisions I've made, and they were pretty dumber and shit. Back then, I wasn't ready for college. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I was scared shitless of anything, but I got the cold shower of sorts. You know, 2 years struggling in college. I think it was just regular school, and required a different thinking, different view set, a different viewpoint. I wasn't getting into college. In college, they don't give you the 5 week or 10 week or 15 or 20 week or 30 or 40 or anything like that. No report cards, except you had to look at your own grades and make a judgment call on that every time you got them. When you got back work, they actually had it written on your work. And you actually did paperwork in those days. And then you got the grades completed in that class, and holy crap. The straw that broke my mama's back was I didn't fulfill what I was supposed to fulfill. I broke a promise with Ma, and I didn't take care of what I should have taken care of. And the school said so many years ago that it wasn't going to deal with that kind of that tomfoolery. It really wasn't. So they were going to kick my ass out, and they did. Kept me out for about a year, and this was over at Pierce College when I was living in San Fernando Valley. This was back in 87, 1987. And my mother wasn't going to hear it, but yet I was going to get work, or I was going to be kicked out because she didn't want a lazy bum. Issues with the throat this morning. So I worked my ass off. Retail, general office, schlub work. But it was money coming into the household. I was going to be under my mama's roof. I'm going to be getting a job full time and bust my ass. And I did. I just wasn't. Well, I guess I wasn't under her caliber, I guess. She wanted me to get trained. She wanted me to earn more money. She wanted. I don't know what the hell she wanted out of me in the first place. I think maybe she was more disappointed with me not completing college, but I know I was disappointed myself because I'm seeing kids younger than me completing college, and they've got these bachelors and masters and business degrees. What the hell did I have? Nothing. I didn't cut it in school that much. I was reading and learning, trying to learn everything else. I didn't think I was all that smart. I really didn't. I didn't think I was the most intelligent kid. I thought I was just, what the hell was I kind of kid? You know, I don't get it. My dad's supposed to have the smarts. My mom had the smarts. How come I didn't have the smarts? I built Lego ships. I built constructions. Okay, well, how come that wasn't applied? It wasn't. I looked at the history and I was trying to put things in context and in perspective, and one ear out the other ear. I go into an English class when I actually finally qualified for one particular class, and I'm reading about English literature, and the only guy that sticks in my head all throughout this time is Coleridge, Rime of the Ancient Mariner, and I never understood what the hell he was talking about. So if I put it into the context of his story without the rhyming stuff, okay, fine. You had a sailor going out in the world with his crews. They had a mascot, supposedly a bird. And at first, okay, fine, but after that, he just take a crossbow, kills him, and then all hell breaks loose for the crew. Trapped in the doldrums and dying of thirst and lack of wind, no food, no water, no nothing. They're stuck in seaweed, the Sargasso Sea. And then they cursed their captain, and captain was like, he felt it because he felt he got cursed because he dealt with the death of an albatross. Okay, and he sees a creatures living under Sargasso seaweeds, and okay, fine. Somehow he blesses them unaware. And then the spirits of the elements, who knows what, come down, life and death, gamble for them. Crew dies, but the captain, he lives, he survives, because somehow a blessing on some creatures on a seaweed patch saves his ass, so he lives. But the crew is now a zombie. They get us back out to where he came from, and then they sink to the bottom of the sea, and their souls are taken with death. But now the guy has to walk throughout the rest of his life being a storyteller of his woes to people and giving them that kind of thing. Forever cursed with the memory hanging around his neck like albatrosses. He'll tell maybe one or two people in his lifetime if he's lucky, as long as his mortal corpse is still alive. I kept looking at that damn story. I kept looking at it and seeing what kind of albatrosses I had because I felt more like him. Somehow I screwed my life up left and right, so I got a second chance. I'll have to make do. I have to make good of it. I always became world weary, and then seeing my mother dies changes a guy. I'd seen death too many damn times. I've been through it myself, but you have your own mother die, and then another surrogate mother dies, and a family pet, and then finally your big brother. There was a messenger there somewhere. There was something. While my brother was alive, before he passes, he kept saying that this was the time for you to go back. We got talked into going back to college, me and my brother. A friend of ours at a recovery hall was telling a story about free money. I discovered later on it wasn't free money. You had to earn it. It was a job. It was a job. It was employment. Employment of sorts. And I had to look at it that way. Because I had been working my ass off. So anytime there was money involved, there had to be something to be earned by. So what was the task? What was the job? You learn. You crack open books. You do projects. You work with people. But you learn and you earn. The grant money comes in, but you're earning it with grades, with effort, with sweat. And while I was going to college for the first few years, I'm seeing and hearing these kids doing this kind of crap. Uh, first semester, there would be full classes, and at the end of the semester, there'd be empty classes almost. The ones who were sticking with it wanted the grades more because they were on their way to universities. I was on my way because I wanted to get that coveted diploma. I don't care if it was an A or not. I was going to do this for myself. And afterwards, I don't know. I screwed it up a long time ago, and I made a promise to myself, my mom, my big brother. I'd do this. I would do this, and I did. And I had. And I take another break for it. Another semester off, and then I'll go back out to it again and try to kick ass again. Things happen in life that I had to take time off for, and I don't like it, but I still have to do it anyway. When David was passing, I had to take time off to more and grieve the process, and also to handle things at the home front more and more. Some things had to take priority. As I said before, I had an argument with my brother before he passed away. I didn't want to go back to college if he was going to get sicker and sicker. I was going to help take care of him. We didn't agree to anything on that one. But you know what kind of a conviction I had, and also how my brother and I were raised. We saw how a long time ago how Aunt May and Grandma were taken care of by my mama. My brother did all he could as a young kid, or 8 years older than I was, taking care of her, taking care of all the ladies. Until it was time for him to go in the military. I wasn't happy about that one. But I did the best I could. Grandma has a stroke. She goes down to San Diego after having a fight with Mom or something. Comes back home with a stroke. Few weeks in the hospital. Ma's learning how to take care of Grandma. Then I've got to be a caregiver. Junior high kid growing into high school, and I've got to be a caregiver to her grandmother. I had to learn real fast. What childhood? There was no childhood. This is life. You deal with it. You're stuck with it. Okay, you're playing. Now you get to grow up. So this was part of growing up. I learned how to grow up. Wanted to play a little bit, but couldn't play. How to grow up. I guess going to college was also learning how to be a grown up, and I didn't want to be a grown up. Okay, so I'll go to college for Ma. I wasn't going for me. It was not for me. It was for Ma. I went to school when I was a lot younger because I was told to do so. I had to do it. Screwed up one year. Had to make up that year in high school. But going to college, if you screwed up one semester, you screwed it up. Semester my ass. You screw up one or two classes, you had to remake the damn things all over again. But your GPA sucks, and if you still continued with the sucky performance, they kicked your ass out. Well, yeah, they did. They kicked my ass out. And then I discovered that the hard ways, this was for real. Well, I thought Mom was kidding about this one, but then again, I should have known better during those days. I should have. I didn't. I took it for granted. And I went for work. And I had to learn what it was like to work in a world without a degree, without a business degree, without something to back it up. You're just a working schlub who just got out of high school. Big whoop. Maybe a long time ago, in different generations, school was only to a point, and after that, you had to work your ass off. You learn as you grow. Yeah, I learned. I learned I resented the living crap out of people who had the degrees and I didn't, only because I didn't take the effort necessary for it. Even if I had gone to a business school or two to learn different skills, different skill sets, actually. Fuck. I still resented I still resented myself and the actions I took. I still resented the fact that I made that decision a long time ago, not treating school as I should have, and I stuck with it. I just had that albatross around the neck I just could not get rid of. Doesn't matter how much well intentions or how much work I threw into the damn jobs. It didn't matter. I still screwed myself up on this one. So how was I supposed to look at the damn thing in the first place? And quite honestly, how the hell was I supposed to look at myself? I mean, this is the thing I screwed myself up on, wasn't it? So now I looked at myself, and I'm thinking, I'm no damn good. I got a trade school or two to get a different trade to get more money. Okay, fine. But where was the accomplishments? Where was the dreams? I don't know. I lost track on that one. I did. I did. Things that people think that they're going to be living forever. They're not. They're not. I took a lot of things for granted. Things, places, people, didn't matter what, I took them for granted. I lose David when he passes away, and I had to do some more thinking about that. And I guess in a way, maybe there should have been a reflection of sorts of seeing when I got into college, when David was alive, and he and I went in. We didn't go in and apply at the same time. I waited a semester to see how things were for him, but would I be able to go back again and do this? I questioned myself on that one. I challenged myself on that one, and I kept thinking, am I going to be doing this? I mean, seriously, am I going to be going back here to do this shit all over again? Because I screwed up a long time ago. How the hell am I supposed to be going back into this thing? And it's like, here was the chance to get back in here and do this job. What the hell was wrong with me? Dave gets into a situation where he can't go back into it again. He gets a heart attack. There's a hell of a lot of expectations and everything else on him. Like, I'm supposed to do this, and he's 8 years older than I am? What the hell? But, I get into it. He's trying to finish up his first and only year in there. In the second half of that year, I take a class and I help him out with it. But I help myself out with it. I get adjusted to what college life was like all over again. Granted, I had my foot crunched in the damn door, but it's still in there. I'm still limping from it. I don't know, none of this happens to deal with gums, but maybe I'll do the nostalgia thing a little bit later. But this one, I had to look at it from a different point of view and a different perspective. I could do this. I could do this college thing. But the thing is, I could do it better than I did last time. I had time, I had perspective, I had context, I had awareness. And I found something of a spark in there somewhere that this was fun. I didn't have that a long time ago. I thought I was tedious and boring as hell, and I kicked myself for over 30 frickin' plus years. But now I come back, and I'm like, damn, I missed this shit. I should have missed this shit a long time ago. So now here I am out a semester again, kicking myself and going through reflections on this one. But only because I chose a different path and a different, temporary path right now. Family member needs me. No joke, no lie. No bullshit of any hate games. No, I looked at it and thinking, this family member, the dog to a lot of people, but to me, it's still family. She means a great deal to me. What the hell am I doing to myself? What I was doing to myself is trying to be aware of something. Being aware of. I don't treat it lightly. I don't take it for granted. And as I was saying concerning about it being a job, I looked at it as a job. You're going to get the money, you're going to get the grant, you got to qualify, which means you got to bust ass. They'll give you the open door after that, but you got to prove yourself. You got to prove yourself, which means you got to bust ass like crazy. And even if you get a C average, that's still busting ass. And I did. It had been. But this particular semester, I had to take care of a few obligations first. But I'm not taking this for granted. I can't take this for granted. It's important to me that I do this. I mean, granted, it's a pain in the butt, but here's the thing that gets me. When I found out my little dog is having more issues than I can just walk away from and come back because I'm taking classes. No, this one has to be requiring 24/7 on this one. I'm back into the mode where I'm a caregiver again. That's my job. It's important because it's a family in trouble, and this is how I've been trained. Every time there was a family in trouble, we helped out. Grandma was like, Aunt May was like that. Grandma was like that. Ma was like that. And David was like that. Little girls like that. So it's important to me. Me, family comes important. I'll be jumping back into the college system again. I hope. I'm not giving up on it yet. But I have to take care of what I have to take care of. And if it comes to the actions I don't want to think I'm going to be taking at this point, I know they're going to be ripping me to shreds. And I won't be in the game. Not mentally or physically. And I won't be there to do the job. See, every time I kept going through the semesters and I earn them with grades, and when I'm at GPA, my grades are climbing steadily. I've earned that paycheck. I've earned that paycheck by going through the classes, by going through the lectures, by taking the tests, by turning in the assignments. And some of those assignments, yeah, they're boring as hell, but the other assignments, they challenge your ass. You bump it up to the full credit of the class. And that's all right. Even if I happen to get a C, but I get a full credit out of the class, at least I earned that damn paycheck. But these kids don't see it because they don't have that work ethic. They don't have the work ethos. They don't understand it. They think it's free money, and that's about it. I run into these students constantly. They'll get in there, stay in about a few weeks, then throw up. But I got the money, and it should be fine. It's not fun because you cheated the government, you're cheating yourself. You're cheating the government and you're cheating yourself. This semester, I had to turn it in. I don't want it. I mean, I need it, I want it, but I'm getting myself screwed over with Uncle Sam on this one. No, they're going to have the grant back because I'm not in yet. Yeah, I did one day. One class I could do like crazy. It would have been no problem. The other class, because of the stipulations put on the students, I'm like, nah, not this time. I'll keep it for granted. I mean, I'll keep it in mind, but not just yet. And then my dog decides to take a turn a little bit. And she requires my attention. Why? Because she's family. She would matter more than a stick of gum any day. She would matter more than all the damn confectionaries out there disappearing left and right. She would matter just as much as school would. But the thing is, I'm not throwing that away just yet. I have to see through this particular semester and until fall how she's doing. After that, during that time, I have to keep putting it in God's hands and let Him tell me what I need to do at this point. Maybe I was wrong for canceling my classes, or at least one of the classes anyway. But my dog needs me, and I'm not holding back on this one. Fruit stripe can disappear all at once, going to fade it into history. Maybe it'll be back, maybe it won't. Maybe somebody else will pick up the damn flavor or something. I don't know. I don't even have the teeth for it anymore, so I can't do that shit anymore. But I have my eye, I have my heart set. I'm not giving up on it. And I'm not giving up on my dog either. I'm not giving up on my dog. A while ago, I was tearing myself apart because I thought, maybe it's coming, maybe it's not coming. But for today, I'm not going to keep thinking about it. But I had to talk something about the gum. I had to talk something about things fading into history. But the thing is, okay, fine, they're gone into history. There's a lot of restaurants, there's a lot of things that people are discontinuing left and right. They're gone, they're faded, and there's only so much I can hold on to for memories and stuff. But I have to deal with what is right now. I'm not going to worry about tomorrow if anything else is going to disappear into history. It's going to. Why? Because it's going to. And to deal with my dog, that's it. So you can enjoy your confectionery gums out there as long as you got the teeth and the memories for them. Last like crazy. Me, I got a job to do. I got a job to do.